live in a clean, decent neighborhood.
Bill Lagatuda investigates.
To hell with my neighbors.
Could this messy dispute turn dangerous?
They're afraid of him.
This is what the county commission can come do. They can come kiss my
And every neighborhood tells a story about family, about community, about different cultures, and very often about conflict, neighbor against neighbor. How can people keep an eye on the big picture? Well, usually it's a matter of perspective. Good evening. This enormous scale model of New York City makes a powerful point. Here you see just how much this is a city of neighborhoods, a mosaic of people crowded together, struggling to get along. But what happens when they don't? Tonight, you'll visit places in this country where neighbor has turned against neighbor. Sometimes the issues seem small, but to those in the middle of them, they loom large. If you've ever had a dispute with a neighbor about the size of a fence, or the condition of his lawn, or the rowdiness of his kids' parties, well, you know exactly what we're talking about. If none of that sounds familiar and you find yourself asking, well, how bad can a neighbor be? Bill Lagatuda has one answer that may give you an eyeful.
Welcome to Altamont Springs, Florida. Leafy, lazy suburbia, just north of Orlando.
Here we are, Middle America.
Real estate agent Jan Schmidt drives through these neighborhoods every day.
You can still get a house at a reasonable price. Elementary school here, K through 5. And here's another church. And if we go around the corner here, voila, we have Rolling Hills Golf Course and Country Club. We're a neighborhood, and we like to think we can take a lot of pride in our neighborhood.
Jan likes Altamont Springs so much that 4 years ago, she built a new home of her own, right here on Alpine Street.
A lot of personality in these houses. No two houses are exactly the same, so you can be an individual.
Quiet, pretty Alpine Street seems like the kind of neighborhood where most people would love to live. Yet, many of the people who live here now say they would move away if they could because of one bad neighbor. How bad? Welcome to the home of Alan Wayne Davis.
It's kind of hard to describe him.
46-year-old Alan Davis and his yard have been the talk of Alpine Street for more than 10 years.
It's disgraceful. It looks like it's a sty.
Reminds me of Appalachia.
To hell with my neighbors.
Davis fills his yard with a rotating collection of old cars, worn tires, rusty scraps, machinery, tarp-covered piles of who knows what, and broken bits of this and that. Do you think this looks good?
Sure.
You do?
Yeah. Why do you think I do it?
You think this looks nice?
Yeah.
If you don't mind me saying so, I mean, this looks like you've got a bunch of junk, trash, garbage spread out all over your front yard, your driveway and your lawn.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion. I just don't happen to care what it is.
You know, we have Disney World, Sea World, maybe this can be Junk World.
The main attraction in Davis's world?
Might as well make it look like an airplane.
Half-built replica airplanes sitting right in the front yard.
This is a full-size P-51 Mustang. This is a 7/10 scale B-25.
At first, we thought he was going to put him out in the street and take off on him.
If you think the front yard looks bad, wait till you see the rest of the Davis estate. What have you got there?
Big secret. Maybe I'm building a nuclear bomb.
What is that?
That's a spaceship.
This is not what you'd exactly call curb appeal. Davis shares his yard and his home with his 6-year-old daughter.
I don't think the spoon and the knife go on the same side. I think the fork.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
And his wife Eileen, who's a bookkeeper, a homemaker, and maybe the most tolerant woman in America. Wouldn't you rather have a front yard with some lawn and maybe a few shrubs or something instead of some drills and garbage?
Well, I wouldn't call it garbage. I would call it his personal property. And yeah, I would like to have my yard. This is what I get.
Alan Davis is a freelance welder and a self-proclaimed artist. He makes fake bombs for vintage warplanes and sells them to museums and collectors. Unfortunately for his neighbors, Davis brings his work home.
So you would consider yourself to be full-time employed?
Well, I'm full-time employed of being a government subversive.
And there's the rub. Alan Davis isn't just your run-of-the-mill slob. He's a patriot, standing up for the rights of private property owners everywhere to trash their own yards.
This is political protest under the First Amendment. Yeah.
All of this stuff?
All of this stuff. You cannot use the allegation that something is unsightly to violate people's constitutional rights. I will not tolerate it.
You think you're a good neighbor?
I'm an excellent neighbor. I'm the best neighbor around here because I will protect my rights, but what I'm doing is I'm protecting the rights, their rights.
Here's our petitions.
But the neighbors would rather stand up for themselves.
We have 64 people who have signed this petition.
They've complained to the authorities, who have fined Davis more than $600,000 over the years. But he's yet to pay a cent, which has Alpine Street up in arms.
What about our rights? Our rights to live in a clean, decent neighborhood. Why are we paying taxes for this?
Well, here's Mr. Davis. I don't speak to him. I don't know him. I just try to ignore him.
You're a real estate agent. What's been the reaction when you show homes in this neighborhood?
Well, when people won't get out of the car, that's a pretty good reaction.
You mean they see that mess down the street and say, I don't even want to look in this neighborhood?
Absolutely.
Neighbors worry Davis isn't just lowering their property values. They worry he might be dangerous.
They say he's a genius, very intelligent. But wasn't Ted Kaczynski too?
I'm willing to protect my rights as I'm guaranteed to be able to under the Second Amendment. And that's the right to keep and bear arms.
It sounds like you're telling me you would shoot somebody if they came on your property to try and take this away?
Sure, I would. Yeah, absolutely no doubt.
That kind of talk got the attention of the authorities.
How you doing, Alan? Pretty good, Dwayne. How you doing?
Deputy Sheriff Dwayne Qualheim has been watching Alan Davis for years.
We've taken quite a few pictures with the hopes that Mr. Davis would eventually clean his property up.
Is he a dangerous guy?
He makes dangerous statements, and this day and age, people take those statements very seriously.
County Planning Commissioner Don Fisher takes the Davis case seriously, too.
It's certainly dangerous. People, especially children, could get hurt by some of the things that are out there.
But while Fisher has figured out how to fine Davis,
He's actually been in front of the county's Code Enforcement Board, and they've imposed a fine against the property of up to now $500 a day.
he can't figure out how to actually collect the fine.
And you're not paying?
No, I never will pay.
So what do you do?
Well, Florida has, Florida statutes provide something that's called a homestead exemption.
That's a law practically unique to Florida that actually makes it illegal for the government to foreclose on Davis's home, even if he's breaking the law. Stymied, the authorities arrested Davis for felony littering, but the case was thrown out by a judge who said the litter law didn't apply to Davis. Beth Rutberg is a state's attorney.
So that leaves you with what?
That leaves us with 4 misdemeanor counts involving basically nuisance or public nuisance.
Is that enough to get the junk out of his property permanently?
I don't believe so because there's simply not enough jurisdiction on those misdemeanor counts that would allow us a long-term solution.
And Davis is working on another response to the county.
What he's building now is bordering on X-rated.
It's his latest work of art.
The name of the sculpture is Kiss My Ass. This is what the county commission can come do, and come kiss my ass. See, and it'll be at eye level so that they don't have to bend over.
I thought for sure he's gonna put the buttocks on top of the legs and put on there, kiss it. I don't think he will, because they'll haul that thing away once he puts that ass on there.
So, with no one able to stop him, Alan Davis keeps throwing bombs and laughing at his neighbors.
You can't control what's going to happen after you buy a house. You just expect that people are going to act like rational human beings. He just needs to conform to the human race, that's all. Join the human race. You'll find that we're okay. We're really okay.
You're exactly the kind of person that people have a nightmare about moving in next door to.
We can hope so. Yeah, that's good. I like that. That would be nice to be known for.